Namaskar, welcome to Wide Angle with Ashok Vyas, and this show is very, very special, and I'm so delighted to be welcoming someone who not only is a dancer, a choreographer, she also learnt yoga, she is an educator and fitness instructor also. And while we talk to Laura Delay, Garza, Noble. This is also the month which United Nations observes as International Day of Yoga on 21st June. How yoga and flexibility and dance are interrelated, we will talk about that, but more about her journey and role of dance in the overall development for this wonderful artist. Namaste, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So, Laura, you were very, very young when you started dancing. I heard you were only 2 years old. Kids don't even walk at that age. How that came about?
So a lot of it was my parents. My mom, from the very beginning, when I have an older sister. So from the very beginning when she had my sister, she saw that she was very energetic. And then when I was born, she saw that I was very energetic. And she was like, I really just need you guys to do something, whatever it is that you want. And we were watching the Olympics, I think, and there was a ice skater, and she like just grabbed her leg and pulled it up next to her face, and I just looked at my mom, dead serious, and I was like, I can do that, and I grabbed my leg and I just like pulled it up over my head, and she was like, oh, okay, she's really flexible. And I was like, yeah, I really want to do ballet. And she goes, oh, okay, sure. So that's just how it started. And I just haven't stopped since.
Wonderful. I'm glad you haven't stopped since then. And that passion, when it is sustained, it not only helps you grow deeper in the chosen art form, it also helps others to cherish the expression which a particular artist is able to bring about for the world. And let us learn a little bit more about ballet. In your interpretation of ballet, what is the special feature of this dance form for you?
Well, I was told when I was growing up that ballet was the foundation of all other dance. I have since come to learn and understand that it is not quite. However, it does have what it has and what it gives the dancers that dance ballet and that study ballet is a better understanding of how to position your body in order to create fluid and elegant lines. So a lot of what ballet has is this idea of you're floating. You're not on the floor. You're just kind of floating over the floor, and it's delicate and soft, and the lines are very beautiful, very exact. It has clearly changed through the years, and there's a lot of different styles of ballet and a lot of different schools. So that's not a generalization. That's all it is. But for me, I found that it really helped me understand, rotation. You talk a lot about rotating your body parts, so your legs, rotating so that they're open. And that can be hard to understand, especially as a very young child, because they just say, okay, rotate, and it's really something that you have to keep working on and keep working on and developing, and that's what ballet gave me. It gave me that foundation and understanding.
Yeah, so Laura, you enjoy dancing is one thing, but when you become a part of the competition studio and you were associated or working with top competition studios, then this competitive spirit also adds additional pressure on you as a performer or a dancer. So how was that finding a balance?
Yeah, so I had to find a balance because I was still in school. So, and the school that I went to was a very rigorous, strict school. So I had to make sure that I continued doing my homework, because even though my mom was always very supportive about dance, it was always very clear, like, you also have to make sure that you're able to do both. So I had to find that balance of, okay, this is the time I dedicate for these things in life, and this is the time I dedicate for dance. And then that balance that I did in my like scheduling helped me create like a balance also in my mind. Just considering, okay, like even though dance is extremely important to me and doing well in the competitions is extremely important to me, I need to make sure that it's not overpowering like within my mind too. So it's that same like barrier I had to find in my schedule, I also had to find that in just like mentally and emotionally.
Now, looking at the way you find other dancers in Mexico, and you started coming to USA and you performed here, and what was the difference as far as artists approaching this art form ballet is concerned in Mexico and America?
Well, there's a lot of differences, but I do have to say specifically for ballet, Mexico is a country where ballet is very important. So even though I'm not saying it's not important in the United States, there's specific schools that really focus on it. There is a more widespread idea of what dance styles are important in the United States, and just like there is more of this idea of just try it all and do this and do the other and do the other. And in Mexico, predominantly the idea of a dancer is still like 90% of people will think ballerina when they think dancer.
Now, when you learn a little bit on your own or with mentors, another you came here to formally study dance form and you got scholarship. How was the course that you pursued at Rutgers related to dance and choreography?
Yeah, so it was a definite change, not just because I moved to a different country, but because I was focused in competition dance when I was back in Mexico. And then when I came to Rutgers, the focus of the program is modern dance. So it was a new dance style that I was coming into and learning about, and that just exploded an entirely new world of dance for me. The idea I came into the United States with of what dance looks like and what a dance career would look like changed completely. The thing that Rutgers really did for me is give me an entrance into my creative voice. So what is it that I can do with this art form, and how is it that I can mold my movement into becoming unique and into saying what it is that I am trying to communicate? How is it that I can have a specific idea in my mind and correlate that with what I'm giving the audience with my movement?
Talking about giving to the audience with your movements and looking at your performance inside out, and I remember having a conversation with you where you were mentioning that as a dancer you need to be aware that without seeing where the movement of your body, so in the space, etc. So talk to me about, because these subtle observations are possible only for the dancers. Those who see, they don't understand different layers that makes a dancer a good dancer.
Yeah, definitely. So human beings all have the capacity to develop mind and body connectivity and just general body awareness. So what we call how knowing where your body is in space, it's called proprioception. So that is developed because even though a lot of times when you're studying dance or you're rehearsing something, you do it in front of a mirror, there is going to come a point in your performance that there is not a mirror there because you are performing for an audience. So you need to develop a skill in where you know where it is that your body is. If you know that your leg is extended, you know that your toes are pointed, you know how many turns it is that you need to land just by feeling it from the inside. So you really get like a sixth sense, I want to say, of getting to know your muscles a lot better and just getting to know the connection between your body parts so that you are able to become aware of, okay, I now know for sure that my toes are pointed. I now know for sure that my knee is straight. Or even like I was saying before, like with turns, okay, you need to do a triple pirouette, right? And you can't just be like, here I go. You need to really be aware of, okay, so then I need to be able to look back to the same spot 3 times before I land. It just comes with a territory, and it takes a long time to develop.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It is like you are looking at yourself without being outside of you, and so there is a different kind of a sensitivity, call it, or intuition, which develops with practice. And when we are talking about dancing and sustaining the passion and having the kind of joy that is visible on your face, so while you were learning at Rutgers, you were taught different dance forms, I believe, and since many of our viewers come from Indian background, so was there something about Indian classical dance or Bollywood dance that was part of your learning?
Yeah, we trained in Kathak. So Kathak is a classical Indian dance from the south of India. And I took a semester course on Fridays where we learned about Kathak. And we also actually trained with a dance company that is based in the United States, but all of their choreography is Kathak dance. And it really helped me understand that the forms that I had trained in so far were just the tip of the iceberg. They're just a sliver of what a person can do with their movement and with their body. And there are so many different ways in which you can move. But at the same time, it has those like little things that remind you of other dance styles. Like, for example, Kathak reminds me a little bit of flamenco. And it really does make sense because historically they share a lot of the same backgrounds. So it's really interesting to me personally. I'm a dance geek, but I find it very interesting to see the little connections you can find in movement and how that is related to years and years and years before that, where that dance came from, what that country went through historically, how that has something to do with how people move.
So, as we were talking earlier, and you mentioned that you are nerdy, when you used the word nerdy, it was related to your quest for knowledge. And looking at your understanding of the way dance works, Kathak is storytelling. So, there is a certain story which is being narrated. But in modern context, when you are trying to draw attention towards certain issues, certain problem, you have worked on those type of productions also, maybe one related to bringing focus and awareness about the problem faced by women.
Yeah, so speaking about what, like I was saying before, a dancer's voice, there is also a choreographer's voice. And I really think that people use the platform that they're given and the talent that they're given and to have that voice say something, no matter where you are. And for me, that's, as a dancer and a choreographer, that's where I have my main voice. So yeah, it's this idea of storytelling, and it can be a fictional story, it can be a theme, or it can be a story of something that is currently happening, or a story of something that you want to bring awareness to. And a lot of people bring awareness to issues through using their actual voices, using their words. But there is something very powerful and something to be said about bringing attention to an issue without using words. And through the visual and through movement. Most people, or like human beings, they process most of their information from what they see and not what they hear. So there is that aspect to dance. There's that ability of, maybe I'm not able to truly say what I'm trying to say to you with words. But if I am able to get to a point where my body, my movement, communicates this story or this issue to you, it is going to be that much more powerful, because you didn't only see it, you felt it. Because if I'm able to feel it in my movement, using my movement as a voice, then you as an audience are really going to feel it.
Feeling the joy that becomes a part of you as a performer, as a choreographer, and noticing that you have also served as a fitness instructor. You also learned vinyasa yoga, and so out of all these different roles, that if I would say, which one is most satisfying? You enjoy dancing, or you like working as a choreographer, or what is it that you feel describes you more than others?
That is a very hard question. It's like trying to pick your favorite kid. It really depends on the day. There's a lot that I have learned from everything that I've done. So thinking about vinyasa yoga specifically, my yoga practice helped me find just balance, but not just the asana of balance, not just the actual finding balance in your body, like the actual physical balance, but it really helped me figure out, we were talking about that mind-body connectivity. It really solidified that for me. It helped me figure out, okay, how is it that what my body is feeling translates into how my mind is doing, and vice versa. So for example, there's that aspect that I really truly enjoy, and whenever I get to go into a yoga practice, it makes me feel so good. But then there's dancing, which will forever be my first love. And right now, choreography and education are really predominant in my life. So when you first said that, I'm like, oh, choreography and education, because it's really right there and like front in the face. And I think in general, what I enjoy is being able to communicate things that I'm not able to communicate with my voice, and being able to make a connection with others, no matter in what realm I am working in.
That's beautiful. And with beauty, when we look at the innovative approach, which is important in the face of changing circumstances, situations, and one challenge which everyone has faced, and especially artists, because stage was not available, and COVID made everybody look at life from the limited space of their home. How was it as a performer, as a dancer? What did you learn during this period when you were confined to home?
Well, first of all, I learned to really love and enjoy my time in a studio space or on a stage, because when you're trying to take a ballet class with a chair in a basement in this tiny little area, it really brings that into perspective. And that's personally, just like not taking things for granted. But I also, professionally, I realized that there was a need for me to also just continue evolving. So right now, I'm really bringing a focus into dance on film. so screen dance, and just how that is different and how I can use this other platform to continue expanding my voice and just continue expanding my skills and just myself.
Beautiful. And as we move towards the concluding part of our conversation, I want you to share with our viewers the role that National Dance Water Project is playing, and what is exciting about this project for you?
Yeah, so this is a project I actually was involved in a couple of years ago, and I really enjoyed participating in this project because I was saying before about bringing awareness to something, and National Water Dance Project brings awareness to just the role that water has in our world, in our lives, and how it is very important to continue to have it in our minds so that we can respect it and so that we can continue to have it. So the idea of that just birthed a movement of making sure that there's just delicacy in your movement and flowiness. And so this choreography, this project became bigger and bigger. It started just in Florida and now it's a national project. And what dancers do is they use that type of movement, that type of texture, to remind people of what water does in our lives, and just to remember that everything's finite and we gotta take care of it.
Everything is finite, but I think the quest for knowledge reaches somewhere near infinite. And you also mentioned that as a dancer, you never stop learning. As someone who goes without having deep understanding of dance would think that there is certain pattern, there is certain structure, and that's about it. They cannot imagine there is a newness evolving continuously. So talk to me about this side, and what is it that you want to learn more, or something which you tell yourself, oh, I wasn't aware of it earlier, but now that I know, I'm also applying it in my dances?
Yeah, so that's really a lot of things. I personally think that I have evolved myself and my art continuously throughout the years. And I see my life with in stages. There was my life where I was just a ballerina, then there was my life where I was just a competition dancer, and then there was my life where I was studying modern dance, and now I just use and pull from everything that I have learned to create my own, again, voice. So who am I? Who am I in this platform of dance, and what is it that I can bring to the table? And I never want to stop learning. I want to continue learning about different dance styles from around the world. There's a very, very big number. I can't really specifically say, but a lot of dances. And I want to learn about that. And I want to learn about dance movement therapy and how is it that I can use this gift and this talent to help others.
Beautiful. So as we thank you for joining us and sharing this wonderful journey of yours so far, and which definitely has a lot of potential. And I want you to share your experience of the way a system here in USA offers opportunities for realizing dreams for everyone. From the point of view of artist, what do you see is special about the way you have opportunities to learn and grow here in America, as well as to give back?
Yeah, I think the one thing with the United States is this openness to giving everyone their place. Mexico, I love my country so much, but I did find it a little bit that people were not super open about the idea of a dancer as a profession. And in the United States, it's not even something that people question. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, you are a dancer and that's what you are. And it's just this openness of every person has a role and every person is living their life how they're living it, and we're there to support it, and there's not that many like just roadblocks. And for me personally, I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to fit in the United States. I was afraid that my talents weren't going to be enough, but I have found that that's not true, and that everyone has a place, and that it is up to you to decide, this is what I'm doing and I'm just going to go for it.
Beautiful. And the good thing was you appeared in certain auditions earlier which you were selected, and that adds to your confidence as well as happiness, and may you continue to add happiness for yourself as a performer, as well as share the joy of your passion for this poetry in motion, I would say. So thank you very much, Laura, for joining me here.
Thank you so much for having me.
So thanking a wonderful dancer, choreographer, fitness instructor, vinyasa yoga expert, and most important, a beautiful human being. Wishing lots and lots of success for Laura, and thanking her for joining us, thanking all of you for being a part of this conversation. This is Ashok Vyas. Namaste.